Lions at the Bears, and we have opposing bets on this one, guys. I love it when we have opposing angles on this thing. Steven on the Lions, Brad on the Bears. As we sit right now, you are finding this at 3 at DraftKings, FanDuel, MGM. There are 2.5s available at PointsBet and 888, and Bet Rivers also out there at 2.5. So if you want the Bears, you're going to go to one of those shops. If you want the Lions, go to one of the other ones here. Brad, you are on the Bears here. I assume you got it at 2.5 as well. Let's talk about this Bears team that has looked absolutely pathetic. How in the world can you back them?
Well, that's part of it, isn't it? Because they look so utterly pathetic last week, right? But, you know, a lot of people talk about buy low. Well, you will never get a better chance to buy low on a team than like 1 net yard of passing. And I think two things. One is that this Lions defensive line is not Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney. It's the absolute opposite end of the spectrum, right? This is the Lions are 32nd in pass rush win rate, and you know it's particularly key with Justin Fields because he holds onto the ball for like in preseason it was 2.9 seconds or so. You know it's as long as you can possibly hold onto the ball. Now, obviously, last week that was a disaster. This week he might you know. If any team in the league is not going to be in his face within 3 seconds, it is the Detroit Lions. Like, if he's going to have a success against anyone, it is this team. And he's got the weapons to get open downfield, right? You know, Darnell Mooney, Allen Robinson, they're good NFL receivers, and they're better talent than anyone on the Detroit team. And then, so the other thing is that I think Matt Nagy has to change up the game plan, right? You know, he was getting like lacerated on every single NFL show, like everyone calling for his job, because he came out with a game plan of like, you know, it was like an Andy Dalton offense, wasn't it? It was like stick routes, 5-yard routes, get the ball out quick, West Coast offense. And like, it's just not what Fields is about. He's about, you know, deep play action, deep balls, get him on the move the pocket, all that kind of thing. So I think he has to do that this week, because otherwise I think he might literally be fired. You know, there was a report if they lose this game, he will be fired. So I expect his best game plan, and I expect the Bears to just have more time to do what they want to do. And if you just look at the talent on these two teams, you know, you do have good NFL players on the Bears still. Khalil Mack, those two receivers, maybe Justin Fields. Whereas like the Lions just have, they're just bereft of talent in like everywhere you look. So I think an overreaction to what we saw last week in this line.
Steven is on the other side of this one, not fully yet, has not bought in on the money line for the Lions, but is looking at them on the teaser side of things, taking that 2.5 up to 8.5. Steven, let's talk about the Lions.
I definitely locked in the teaser leg on the Lions with a couple other options that we talked about earlier at that 8.5. Flirting with a plus 130 money line here. Haven't decided. If I do, it would only be a half a unit. But I do agree with Brad that this is a buy low spot. The look ahead line on this game was Chicago -6, and we're now down through the 3. So this is not a situation where I typically will just ignore that loss of value. But on the teaser leg side, the total is only 42. So that's a solid teaser spot. Consider that as well. The more points you buy on a lower total, the more valuable they are. So Brad's talking about Matt Nagy possibly coming out with the best game plan he can this week with his job on the line. I'm just not sure he's actually capable of coming out with a good game plan. I mean, look at last week, right? As Justin Fields starting against a tough defense, that's a perfect situation for you to script up and scheme up some easy first read passes to get him into the flow and get him into the rhythm. First 10 plays last week, the ones Nagy allegedly spent the week scripting: run, scramble, run, sack, run, pass, run, sack. I'm not sure he's capable of scheming open receivers for whichever quarterback is out there, even with good receivers like Allen Robinson and Darnell Mooney. So I will say I actually am preferring Justin Fields to start again this week because he's just not getting any help. Andy Dalton at least can play it safe and maybe sneak out a win here for them. So I would prefer Justin Fields to start again this week. But I just think Detroit has been a really competitive football team against a tough schedule to start the year. In San Francisco, Green Bay, and Baltimore, they looked well coached. The Bears only win this year. They needed 10 points from their defense to beat the Bengals by 3 via a pick 6 and a turnover that put them already in field goal range. So I do agree that this is the ultimate buy low spot for the Bears. I just don't know if they're actually capable of it, even against the Lions. So we'll see. I mean, I can certainly understand people not wanting to bet this game at all. And I'm not sure I'm going to bet Lions money line considering how much value we lost on it. But I love the teaser leg here for the Lions. And maybe Brad and I both win.
Yeah, I haven't bet this yet. If Justin Fields gets announced as a starting quarterback, I will be on the Lions here. I don't think it's a buy low spot because sometimes something gets so low for a reason and you don't buy it because it sucks. And you don't want to buy something, right? You don't want to buy something so low because it's gotten so low because it sucks and you don't want it. And so I don't think it's a buy low spot on this Bears team. I think the Bears suck. I think they're a horrible team. And with Justin Fields, what we saw last week, it showed he's not ready for the limelight yet. He's not ready to start in the NFL, and that's fine. Rookie quarterbacks take a while to get good in the NFL. We got spoiled last year because of what Burrow and Herbert did, and we just think that every rookie should just step in and look like they belong in the NFL. We will not see 2 rookies step in and look like Herbert and Burrow probably again in our lifetimes. We've never seen it before. Like 2 guys just step in and look like they're 10-year veterans from the second they take the first snap in the NFL. I mean, I don't think that this is crazy to think that because, the Lions, yes, not very much talent, but the fact that they have a veteran quarterback presence, the fact that they can still run the ball half decent, the fact that they, like you said, played some pretty good teams pretty tough so far. I do not hate this in the least bit. If Justin Fields gets announced as a quarterback, I will be on the Lions. I will love to be on the Lions. If it's Andy Dalton or Nick Foles, then I'll probably take a pass here and sit back and just watch the thing. So I will be definitely with my ear and eyes open as to how this gets played out from a quarterback perspective, because there's a lot to like, I think, if Justin Fields starts yet again here for the Bears.